Starring Kaylyn, Newell, Carmie, Libia, Kat, Deanna, Keizjer, Daniela, Rammy, and Violet Serenity. Absurdity Ascents is written by Emerson Arriety and narrated by Jane Lee.
Zoe points the gun at Aidyl with one hand and clutches the universal remote with the other. Midnight's approaching in the Red Castle, and the deal needs to be done before then. Though she holds the gun, Aidyl holds all of the cards. But the gun is seemingly enough to leverage the negotiations in Zoe's favor. Aidyl says to her,
"You've really sacrificed everything for her, haven't you? Your friends and even your own life. But you have my word. I shall not touch a hair on her head."
So we're agreed.
Agreed.
Zoe crosses the room and she hands the remote to Aidyl. For now, you've seen enough of the scene, and we head 11 hours southwest and 26 years later, where London Bach has woken up. Her short black bob is disheveled by her pillow, and she's haunted by the vague awareness that she's forgotten another dream. She looks to her left, and to her dismay, the other side of the bed is empty.
Oh, great.
Her eyes drift to her nightstand. Her silver necklace is there and the clock, which reads 7:01 a.m. However, instead of a memory journal, a square patch of dust is cleared from the nightstand.
Gotta start getting up before her.
London rubs her eyes and climbs out of bed. She opens her closet, which contains a vast array of clothing, most of which have pockets. The lone hanger without any clothes on it catches London's eyes, and she removes it.
Blue, black, red. Damn it, why do I have so many bloody clothes?
London puts the hanger back and opens the bottom drawer of the nightstand. She rummages through the pants, taking note of which one is missing.
Black jeans.
London closes it and opens the top drawer to stare inside of it.
So if it's black jeans, then it's probably my black jacket. It's gotta be my grey shirt.
London pulls out a grey shirt and a look of disappointment crosses her face.
Oh, Dallas, you have such an awful sense of fashion.
London takes the shirt and necklace and heads across the hall. When she arrives in the kitchen, she sees her identical twin sister eating grits.
"Morning, London."
London does not respond. Instead, she just stares at her.
"Stop looking at me like that. You're the one that asked me to do this."
This was true, but it didn't change the fact that it irritated London every morning.
Black jeans and jacket. Blue shirt.
Dallas tosses London a trash bag.
2 for 3. The shirt's yellow.
Ew. I'm wearing the grey one.
I think the yellow one looked nice, though.
It won't. I'll look like some sort of bumblebee.
You would not. What month is it?
July.
Day of the week?
Wednesday.
And the day of the month?
London taps her finger on the table, trying to work out in her head what days of the week Wednesday could be in July.
13.
Oh my God, it's the 27th.
Dallas slides London's memory journal to her, and she opens it near the end and begins reading it.
4 for 6 ain't bad.
That's the same as yesterday and the day before that as well. 3 of 6 at the beginning of the year.
You're getting better at remembering stuff, see?
Not fast enough. I just need to find my memories.
Speaking of fart and stuff, there's this place in my head. It's sort of creepish, I guess. I mean, it ain't really creepy, but it makes me want to run away from it.
The point?
I got a good feeling about this place. I bet you she's there.
How can a creepy-ish place give you a good feeling?
Dallas glances at the back of her right hand as though she can see through it, and look at the blue number 2 tattooed on the reverse side of it.
It just does. I figure I wasn't getting nowhere 'cause I didn't know what to do. But it's kind of talking to me and telling me I need to go to this place.
It talks to you?
Well, no, but it's hard to explain, really. But I never felt this way before, and this has got to be our best chance to find her, right?
All right. Where is she?
Somewhere in Atlanta.
Atlanta? Where is that, Georgia?
Yep, it's only about an 11-hour drive from here.
You're driving most of the way. You had better be right about this.
A long road trip from Dallas to Atlanta later. The Bach sisters moved through the quiet evening street towards the mailbox of a rented home in the suburbs.
This was a horrible idea.
I'm telling you it ain't.
We can't just waltz into some stranger's birthday party. She'll just put us out.
Why would she do that? Telling someone they're the keeper of reality is a wonderful icebreaker.
Sure. If you're mad.
I guess you're right, but I've got another idea.
As she opens the mailbox, Dallas explains to her sister what her idea is.
We'll put this in the mailbox and she'll think it came from one of her relatives.
However, immediately after placing the gifts inside, her sister takes it out.
Hey!
She's not just going to open a package from strangers. We'll put a random letter and her last name on first, so she'll think it's from a relative.
London glances at the mailbox, but there isn't a name on it. Because neither idea was good at all, Dallas snatches the present and marches towards the house.
Oi, Dallas!
London runs after Dallas, who rings the doorbell several times.
We're not even sure she's the one.
I've been doing this for 26 years. I know she's the one.
You've said that before.
The door opens, and standing in the doorway is a woman who had just entered her 24th year of life. She looks bored, annoyed, and thoroughly underwhelming for the title of Keeper of Reality.
Can I help you?
You mean you don't recognize us? It's us, London and Dallas. We went to the same high school together.
London closes her eyes, enabling her to listen to Lydia's thoughts.
Piedmont.
So we went to the same high school. So what?
You think we don't know you? I remember you, and your name, it's,
Again, London closes her eyes in an effort to trick the Keeper of Reality with her parlor tricks.
Lydia.
Lydia narrows her eyes at London with suspicion.
Okay. So you remember me from high school. I don't get why that brings you here.
London takes the present from Dallas and hands it to Lydia.
We heard your birthday was today, and we thought we'd wish you a happy one.
Well, thanks, and have a good day.
Lydia closes the door slowly, and before it's closed completely, Dallas leans into view.
You too. Happy birthday, Lydia.
London sighs.
That wasn't awkward at all.
Lydia returns to the kitchen where her best friend, Nada, and Nada's little sister, Zoe, are sitting. However, despite it being 26 years later, Zoe is only 16 years old.
Who was that?
Lydia tosses the present into a corner and takes a seat at the table. It appears to be her move in the game they are playing. It has no bearing on the plot, but Zoe is losing badly.
Some London and Dallas people from high school. You remember them?
Doesn't ring a bell.
I remember London and Dallas.
You didn't go to high school with us.
But you told me about them. The Bach sisters. The Vietnamese twins who were born on a plane.
Born on a plane? I think I would remember somebody who was born on a plane.
Yeah, but my memory's amazing.
True.
Who cares if they're from our high school or not? That London person creeped me out.
I think it's nice that they remembered your birthday. Even though you don't remember them.
You mean creepy, Zoe?
Zoe goes to retrieve the present from the corner. She places it in front of Lydia, not so accidentally knocking the board astray.
You should open it.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't open a gift from my stalker. Just throw it in the trash or something.
Zoe sighs herself and opens up the present. Inside is a universal remote, the very same one she had given to Aidyl those many years ago.
See? It's just a remote control.
I have one of those.
Zoe is growing impatient of Lydia not accepting the device, so she takes matters into her own hands. Closing her eyes tightly, she hops backward in time, breaks Lydia's remote, and returns to just before she gave the remote to Lydia. Panting, she says to her,
See? It's just a remote control.
Hey, I've been needing one of these. I have no idea what even happened to the other one. I just woke up one day and it was broken into pieces.
Breathlessly, Zoe slides into her chair and gulps what remains of her Pepsi. The next day after Nada had returned from work, she and her sister are at her apartment eating rainbow cereal in the kitchen.
I was just thinking about those twins.
What about them?
How the heck did they know Lydia needed a remote control? See, I told you those guys were stalkers.
I think you're overreacting.
You're underreacting. Those guys are creepy as hell.
The phone rings and Nada answered it.
Go.
Hey Nada, it's Lydia. I can't get this stupid remote to work.
Did you try, I don't know, reading the manual?
I don't need a manual to use a remote.
But you need to call me.
Just get over here.
Nada enters Lydia's home. Lydia is on her couch examining the remote as the news drones on in the background about fires in the city limits of Atlanta.
You know, you could always just get up and change the channel.
Of course I could, but how can I get comfortable if every time I want to change the channel, I have to get up?
Nada sits behind her friend. She lends an expert hand in mashing random buttons, but to no avail.
I tried that already. I'm pretty sure it's broken.
It probably just needs new batteries. If that doesn't work, just trade it in for a new one.
As suggested, Lydia retrieves batteries from her old remote and puts them into the remote and points it at the television. She presses a button and red light flashes from the remote and a black hole appears on the wall and swallows Lydia's TV. Nada and Lydia shriek.
Get the manual, get the manual.
Outside, London and Dallas are walking up the street towards the rented house in the suburb. Next door, a woman is walking her dog in the backyard, but she isn't paid much mind.
I don't see what you're getting so riled up about.
If she's really the master of the remote, she could be doing anything right now.
She didn't seem too happy to see us. She probably didn't even open the present yet.
Even so, it's not a chance we should be taking.
The twins walk onto the porch, and because it worked so well last time, London rings the doorbell. After predictably nobody coming to answer the door, London prowls around the side and takes a glance inside the window. She closes her eyes and listens in on the thoughts.
Who is outside? Can't let them see this.
It's probably those stalkers who gave you the remote in the first place. I'll go check.
London rolls out of the way, just as Nada looks out the window. She returns to her sister's side.
They're ignoring us.
London opens one of the many pockets on her outfit and retrieves her lock-picking kit.
London, you can't just break into someone's home.
Would you rather they destroy the universe?
Dallas thinks a moment.
I guess not.
London picks a lock, opens the door, and Nada immediately whacks her in the face with the manual.
Stop!
Dallas puts her hand out in a gesture to stop. Nada raises the manual higher, but doesn't swing.
What did you and your freaky sister give Lydia?
The remote. He is the most powerful device in the universe, and if you ain't careful, you might could destroy the entire universe.
Nada narrows her eyes, but lowers the book.
Get in here and fix it.
Back inside the house, London is lying on the couch while her sister holds an ice pack to her head. Nada and Lydia are staring at the black hole, which has only gotten slightly bigger.
Well, get rid of it.
Which one of y'all put it here?
Lydia did.
Dallas smiles proudly.
I knew it.
Only took you several hundred tries.
London sits up to look at the black hole and Lydia says to her,
Isn't one of you going to fix it?
Only the remote operator can do that.
Me?
Yes. You read the manual, right?
No.
Then why were you touching it?
I was just trying to change the channel.
Why would you use the remote for something so menial?
I don't know, because usually they do change channels, not make black holes.
London picks up the manual and flips through it. Reading out loud, she says to Lydia,
Okay. Point the remote at the black hole and press delete 3 times.
Lydia does as instructed, but when nothing happens, she frowns.
It isn't working. Why isn't it working?
I'm out of batteries.
Lydia yelps. She fumbles the remote, dropping him, and he bounces towards the black hole and gets swallowed inside. Dallas and London scream.
What did you just do?
I was surprised you didn't tell me that it talked.
He.
We're going to have to go get him, aren't we?
Meanwhile, Zoe is waking up on the couch in Nada's apartment. She is horrified by what has just occurred. She closes her eyes and jumps backward in time. It is now night and Zoe is standing outside of the apartment. She is thinking to herself,
If I can get Nada to sleep in longer, this can all be averted.
Zoe plucks a caterpillar off of a leaf.
This should do it.
Zoe wakes again back on the couch where she started. She is panting heavily and she takes the Pepsi off of the coffee table and drinks it.
What happened? Why didn't it work? I guess I have to do this the old-fashioned way.
It isn't that far off a walk from Nada's apartment to Lydia's rented house in the suburbs. When she arrives, there is a woman, Bexs, and her dog on Lydia's lawn peering inside.
Are you planning on going inside?
Bexs jumps and whirls around. Zoe gives her a friendly smile and a warm wave.
Hi.
Hi, what are you doing here?
My big sister jumped into that black hole and I came to get her. What about you?
I saw my neighbor and like 3 other people and... Wait, how did you know there was a black hole inside that house?
Isn't it obvious?
Yeah, but you weren't here when it was created. So how do you know there's a black hole inside that house?
Retrocognition.
What?
It means that I can see into the past.
You can see into the past? That's ridiculous. No one can see into the past.
More ridiculous than a black hole inside of Lydia's living room?
Okay, so maybe you're telling the truth.
Come on.
Zoe takes Bex's hand and leads her towards the house, but Bexs pulls away.
Whoa, wait a second. Don't you want to explain a bit before you go charging inside?
They've already been in the black hole for several hours. If we don't move now, they could die. Could you stand by and let people die when you could save them?
No, never.
Then come on.
It is exactly 7,526 years later, Secundo 11th, 19,543 HE. Dallas and Lydia tumble out of a white hole. Everything around them, from the buildings to the sidewalks, is a pristine white and blue with flashing lights. It looks somewhat like a motherboard.
Is this the future?
Dallas looks around frantically.
Where's London?
I don't know, but don't worry. Nada's probably with her.
Nada? Ain't that Spanish for nothing?
Yep, and her last name's Chance too. I think her parents were drunk when they named her.
Dallas laughs.
Poor Nada. I hope she's okay.
I hope so too. We need to start looking for them.
Where should we start?
If Nada is looking for me, the first place she'll go is the bar. So let's start there.
Back in the rented house in the suburb, Zoe is waking up on Lydia's couch. The first thing she sees is Bexs staring down at her. Zoe yelps. Bexs yelps in response and jumps back.
Sorry, did you see anything?
I just saw that they wound up in different locations. Probably within the same city limits.
Zoe gets up and walks closer to the black hole, sipping on a can of Pepsi.
Judging by the size of the black hole, there's about 70 different locations that we could wind up.
70?
But there's good news. The first is I know where all of the holes lead.
Well, that's great, but you said they wound up in different locations. Even though they jumped in at the same time.
Near the same time. And they didn't have you.
Me? There's nothing special about me.
You're a blocker. You can block off all the openings except the ones we need to enter.
Really? How do I do that?
All you have to do is clasp your hands together and close your eyes. Like this.
Zoe sits on the floor opposite Bexs and does just that. Bexs follows suit.
Now repeat after me. I block entry 1 from interacting with timeline B.
I block entry 1 from interaction with timeline B.
I block entry 2 from interaction with timeline B.
I block entry 2 from interaction with timeline B. Okay, I have it now.
If you keep adding, you'll accidentally block the entry we need to take.
Tell me which one it is and I'll skip it.
They don't all share the same name. Now come on. I block entry 3 from interaction with timeline B.
Bexs sighs but nonetheless continues repeating after Zoe. Back in the future, Lydia and Dallas walk into a bar. It is packed with robots playing pool, cards, and drinking, obviously. There's even the occasional human amongst the crowd.
I don't like the looks of this place.
We're just going to get information, then we'll leave.
As the women go over to the bartender, they pass a grimy mirror. While it reflects Dallas as it should, Lydia does not have a reflection. The bartender is an old, rusty robot with tubes for legs, arms, and neck. Lydia holds up 4 fingers to the bartender.
4 beers, please.
The bartender unscrews his hands and places them onto the bar. He sticks his arm into a keg and pours beer out of the other arm into 4 mugs.
I don't see my sister or Nada.
Lydia gives Dallas a brief glance before putting an elbow on the table and leaning closer to the bartender.
Don't get much humans around here, do you?
Get your arm off my table.
Lydia takes her arm off the table and scowls. Lydia then hands one of the beers to Dallas and slides the other 3 in front of a bar stool which she sits on. Dallas looks surprised by Lydia, but doesn't say anything and sips her beer.
That'll be 35,600 euros. Lydia
nearly gags.
How much is that in US dollars?
$40,054.81.
What the fu-
Lydia turns to Dallas.
Put that down.
Dallas fumbles with it a bit and places the mug onto the counter.
We're a bit lost. Would you mind telling us where it is we are? City, country, century?
You're in Waterford, Ireland. I don't know how you get so lost that you don't know what country you're in anymore.
We've been traveling a very long time. What is the date? Day, month, year?
Secundo 11th, 19,543.
Dallas gives Lydia's sleeve an urgent tug.
Come on, we should leave.
Lydia waves her off, ignoring her almost completely.
In America, we use an entirely separate calendar. It's called the Gregorian calendar. Ever heard of it?
That was the previous calendar. It was replaced with the Polyanthian calendar over 2,000 years ago.
You know America, set in its ways. Ever hear of the imperial system?
Another outdated unit of measurement. You seem to be very old-fashioned. How old are you?
I'll tell you my age, if you tell me the date, Gregorian style.
July 28th, 9,542 Anno Domini.
I am 24 years old, actually. And I seem very old-fashioned because my partner and I were delivering a pizza to a cryogenic plant and got frozen for 2,000 years. So I suppose I am technically 2024.
You know what I think? I think you and your friend are responsible for the white holes.
An ominous silence falls over the bar. Everybody stops what they are doing to look in the direction of the 2 strangers. The silence is finally broken by a random patron.
Are those the girls who caused all of those white holes?
What white holes?
The ones which brought you through time and space. It explains why you're disoriented about the date and location.
A man picks up a pool stick, and another man joins him. Both brandish them threateningly as they close in on Lydia and Dallas. Dallas closes her eyes, filling herself up with the murderous emotions of the 2 men.
Those men are fixing to kill us.
No kidding!
No, I can feel it in them. They don't just want to fight, they want to kill us.
Dallas scans the room as quickly as she can. Robots have blocked the door and a group of robots was advancing on them, along with an unarmed woman.
They're the only humans who want to kill us. I don't know what the robots are feeling.
Is this supposed to be helpful?
Uh-huh. I'm gonna take out the killers, so our worst we're taking prisoners.
Glass shatters behind them, and they turn to see the bartender holding a broken glass bottle.
You think you can just punch holes in Waterford?
I said we would fix it!
The bartender dives at Lydia and she hops out of the way. The fight is underway now. Dallas closes her eyes and rushes the 2 men with the pool sticks. I've seen her do this before, use their instincts against them. The first man swings her and oh, what a dodge! She spins around on the floor and sweeps his legs out from underneath him and he is down. The second man stabs at Dallas, but she flips over his head and lands behind him. An elbow to the back of his neck has him out like a light. The first man has gone back up to take another swing at her. She catches it and kicks him right into the table. He's not getting back up from that one. Dallas has opened her eyes to find Lydia. She has been forced into a corner by the bartender. This doesn't look too good for Lydia. Dallas grabs up a pool stick and hurls it straight at the bartender, and he has to pull away before it becomes a shish kebab. It doesn't stop the bartender, though, but it does the job of allowing Lydia to get safely to Dallas.
What do we do now?
I don't know. London usually does all the thinking.
You said earlier we need to take out the killers, so we're at worst imprisoned.
Right, the bartender.
Dallas picks up the other pool stick and the fight resumes. She rushes towards the bartender. He steadies himself for the attack. She lunges at him and he grabs hold of the stick. He turns it aside and sends Dallas crashing into the wall. He rushes forward, aiming for Dallas's head. She drops out of the way as the stick is splintered against the wall. If that was her, this fight would be over. The bartender gets the other pool stick now. He chases Dallas through the bar table. Dallas jumps onto it and he crashes straight through it in pursuit of her. She's quickly running out of bar table here. She needs to do something. She jumps for a patron's table. She lands roughly on it. Robots takes grab of her, but she jumps to another table and then rolls onto the floor.
Hey, cut that do till your friend here gets it.
A robot has gotten a hold of Lydia and she's struggling rather fruitlessly to free herself. Dallas puts her hands up.
Please don't hurt us.
That ain't gonna happen.
The bartender charges Dallas, pool stick leveled towards her stomach. Dallas spins around the tack, ripping the pool stick from him and spinning behind him. She jams the pool stick upwards and through the bartender's neck. Both let out gasps as the bartender collapses to the floor, sparking. A hush has fallen over the bar once again, and two robots silently move to either side of Dallas to grab her arms.
And thus comes to an end the first episode of Absurdity Ascents. The second part is €1 trillion, baby! Do not miss it. Additional voices for this episode provided by Alleira Reed and Rammy.